Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Uncomplicate, where we interview one expert every day on one particular question. Today I have Adam from G2, who is here to talk about a pretty interesting topic. Something that everyone keeps talking about, but probably no one knows how to, or most of us haven't figured out how to go about it. Listening to the voice of the customer, and using that as a growth lever. So Adam, welcome to Uncomplicate, and
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, tossing it up to you with a question. What is voice of the customer? How do we use it as a growth lever, Adam?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, the shift that's kind of happened, right, is the B2B buying journey has shifted, right? If you think about the way it worked before, people would go to websites, they'd fill out forms, they'd wait to get contacted, and there really wasn't a lot of information online about the softwares people were purchasing. And if you look at today's world, right, what's happening is, there's a stat out there that 90% of people are doing their own research online first and then reaching out to the companies when they're ready to talk. And so the power has kind of shifted, and I don't think marketing's fully caught up to that kind of shift yet. And so it's like people are going out and doing their own research, like, okay, great, that's good to know, but like, what are they actually researching? What are they actually trying to get? And the two things that we found that people are looking for when they're looking for, software is, peer reviews. So like, what are people I work with saying? What are people in the industry saying? And then like product ratings and reviews, right? And so I think that really kind of, that understanding as a marketer makes the importance of review sites so much more important, right? Especially, when 90% of the journey is happening outside of your website and outside of things you control. And so really, I think the way you can use it as a lever for your growth is kind of like start trying to influence that actual like path, right? And so getting involved with sites like G2 to get listed, to get your reviews up. So if you think about the traditional funnel of like, awareness, consideration, and moving all the way down, that hasn't changed. Just where they're doing it has changed, right? And so marketers need to adjust their strategy to actually be kind of where the people are. And so I think that's one element of it, is like, you need to be at the dance if you want to actually like be involved in these conversations, right? Because if I go to, a site like G2 and I see, two companies and one has no reviews and it's not manned and there's outdated content on it, or there's one that has 500 reviews, and it looks like there's content I can digest on there, I can read about it, like which one am I more likely to go with, right? And you're hitting that person at a very crucial point in their kind of discovery stage, right? And then I also think knowing that like peer reviews and, ratings and reviews are some of the most important things for a B2B buyer. How do you incorporate that into the rest of your funnel, right? Like, how do you incorporate that into your ads, into your landing pages? And we see people that do it successfully, they're seeing conversion rates of like, increases of like 200% from what, pages without that information on it. So I think, getting your head around the space and just being there is one thing, but then like, how do you harness that into every kind of vehicle in terms of the sales and marketing conversation is the other one.
Okay, awesome. I think, I just want to add on to what you've said, with our suite of products, let's say Freshservice, Freshdesk, a lot of customers, we get through G2 Crowd and other review platforms always say, hey, we find you more authentic because you have more reviews, people talking about you, our peers from, let's say, particular industries saying what are the positives and negatives. And, as you said, that has definitely helped increase our conversion rates. So,
Yeah.
So thank you for doing this, Adam. I really enjoyed this conversation and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Bye-bye.